Live, all right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما وفقهنا في الدين. آمين يا رب العالمين. SubhanAllah, my brothers and sisters in Islam, you'd think after about, I don't know, maybe 45, 60 days straight doing the live stream, we'd get it right. But SubhanAllah, as you saw, we're still trying to figure out which cameras are where. And we thank Allah Azza wa Jal for allowing us to stand here today, for allowing us just to finish the blessed month of Ramadan, and allowing us to talk to your beautiful faces. And as you've been accustomed, not to talk to your faces, or to talk to your ears, but realistically, to talk to the hearts. This morsel, as we know, as the Prophet ﷺ clearly told us in a hadith that's sahih, to the meaning, if there's a muscle in the body, if it is corrected, then the whole body is corrected. And if it is not corrected, then the whole body is not corrected. And he said, Allah, and then he actually pointed to the heart. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to cleanse our hearts. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal from above 7 heavens to allow us to be sincere, even for a blink of an eye. Can you imagine, my brothers and sisters, what will happen if Allah accepts the alif from Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, or the ba from Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, because of our sincerity, because of us asking Allah Azza wa Jal to accept from us, and for us to strive for this sincerity, the result is no other than a merciful Lord, and He'll tell us to enter paradise without any question. So we ask Allah to allow us to be of those people. Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed us today to start a series. And we'll just have some, as they say, some couple of bullet points before we start. This series, inshallah, during Ramadan we had different topics. And now moving forward, we're going to move into a series of talks. This series of talks, inshallah, will last approximately 20 to 25 lessons, depending on the time, depending on if we cover all of the content. And what topic we've chosen, my brothers and sisters in Islam, as you can see on the whiteboard, preparing to be a student of knowledge. Now, there's a question we need to ask ourselves, as an individual and as an ummah. And this is something I want to set clear from day one. Every single discussion, every single point that we make moving forward, as we can see on the whiteboard, we're transforming our thinking and our behavior. So it's going to be quite an amazing journey. It's going to be a beautiful journey. It's going to be a journey that's, if you can call it, maybe an unconventional one. Something that you might not be used to listening to. But we're going to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to do the best we can to explain the content to our brothers and sisters that are listening. So we're transforming our thinking and behavior. And every word, every step, and every moment we take for these, it could take months on end, please pay attention to one particular point. It is talking to the individual, plus we're talking to the ummah at large. So there's two things happening in parallel. So anything we hear tonight and in the days to come, it is talking to the individual and we're talking to the ummah at large. Now, the first question or the first point of reflection that we want to discuss today is this topic itself, preparing to be a student of knowledge. Now, the heading itself or the topic itself might intrigue some of the listeners. What do you mean preparing to be a student of knowledge? Do we even have to prepare to be a student of knowledge? Do we need to be in a continuous cycle of improvement? Do we need to be in a continuous cycle of gaining knowledge? Or are we required to be stale? Are we required to be standing in a position and not move? Some very important questions related straight to the topic itself, preparing to be a student of knowledge. So do we need to continuously grow? Do we need to continuously move? Do we need to continuously learn? Some questions, and inshallah over the series that we're going to go through over the next months on end, inshallah we're going to dive into that. One of the first things that we want to bring your attention to, my brothers and sisters in Islam, because we're talking about transforming thinking and behavior, we need to read this sentence. Correct thinking leads to correct actions and correct decisions. Very simple concept, it's not too difficult. And the wrong thinking leads to the wrong actions and the wrong decisions. Let's do a basic example. If I get in my car and I want to drive to work, and I wholeheartedly believe, and my thinking patterns, that running a red light is okay. My thinking and then my behavior, because after thinking comes behavior. After that comes action. The first red light I see, I run straight through it. And then a bus hits me. What have I just done? Why has the bus just hit me now? Because I left my home believing and thinking that running a red light is what? Is okay. So hence, I made the wrong decision. Now let's flip it. That's person A. Person B leaves his house when he gets in his car, believing and thinking that wearing a seatbelt, following the road rules, staying under the speed limit, not running a red light is the right thing to do. And he thinks that and he behaves in that way. What is the result? What is the result of this? Quite simple. That is the correct action and the correct decision will be taken. So, as you can see, it's not too difficult. There's fancy words. I'm using purple and red, different colors. I'm not that creative guy. I'm not a colorful guy. But it's a simple and straightforward concept where we really need to think about, comprehend, and start to understand. See, the Ummah at this point in time, in the age of technology, and the age of reading, and the age of learning, I want to say something so profound. Our issue is not reading. The issue is understanding what we read. Understanding what we read. So that's another point. I did mention in the introduction, we're going to lay some foundations. And the topic itself today, as we said on Facebook, is we're laying the platform. I'm personally in construction, so I fully understand what that means. If the concrete is not set in the right place, then the wall will crack. It's a default. So before we move a muscle, before we move an inch, we need to lay the correct foundations. And the correct foundations start in our thinking and our behavior. As we just mentioned, a basic example about running a red light. Now, moving from here, we're going to write a word on the whiteboard. I'm going to draw some lines. I like to draw lines. All right. So this word here, thinking, and this word here, behavior. And the word is mindset. So, if we were to map thinking and behavior, where does that take us? It takes us to someone's mindset. What is in someone's mind? What is in someone's brain? Very, very, very important. So from here, what you'll see is that this creates something called the mindset. The mindset is linked straight to thinking and behavior. What is in our mind? What information occupies our mind? How do we think? How do we behave? How do we make certain decisions? If I go to the coffee shop and I tell the lady or the young man behind the counter, I want a cappuccino of 1 sugar. Why did I get a cappuccino of 1 sugar? Why didn't I get a cappuccino with 2 sugar? Why didn't I get a flat white? So these little examples I'm giving is just to stimulate the thinking, to stimulate the mind. And this is a mindset. Now, there's 2 types of people we're going to talk about today in the space of mindset. So we're going to talk about group A, and we're going to talk about group B. And once we do this, my brothers and sisters in Islam, at the end of this exercise, we're going to draw a couple of lines. And we're going to, inshallah, make a decision together. Now, when we talk about mindset, let's dive a little bit more deeper into this. And as I said at the start of the talk, everything we say is going to be directed to the individual, and it's also going to be directed on an ummah level. Because in both spectrums, we're accountable in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So that's why we've chosen this. Now, this group here, and I'm going to say some words now, and some of the listeners might relate, some of the listeners might not relate to group A and group B. I'll let you decide which group you're in. And what's more importantly, what I'd like to direct your mind to, is how much times you've heard certain individuals say these things. It's quite interesting, inshallah. You'll see once we get to it what I mean. The first, I'm going to try to write them all down so the listeners can pay attention, can have it in front of them. I can't. I can't. Have you heard anyone say that before? This is group A people. Another one. It's too hard. What do you think about that? It's too hard. I can't. Even look at my body language when I'm saying it, right? Before, 1 second ago, I was smiling, and all of a sudden you're in a conversation with someone, and he says to your brother, when you come to the mosque? I can't. Look at my body language. Brother, when you come to the mosque? Yes, inshallah, I'm going to come. Can you see the difference in body language? I can't. It's like you're sucking the oxygen out of the room. You're sucking the energy out of the room. And what follows from I can't, what follows from it's too hard, next thing. I'm limited. Next. It's not fair. Another one. It's complicated. Now keep in mind, and I'll do this very, very often, every time we transverse down a certain chain of thought, I'll always bring it back to the introduction. The introduction was transformation, or transforming our thinking, our behavior. The lesson itself is preparing to be a student of knowledge. We spoke about correct thinking and the wrong thinking, and how that devolves down into a certain mindset. Because the mind thinks, and it has, from the thinking, certain behavioral patterns occur. And this is something that we need to look at. And like we said, tonight, it doesn't matter if you're in group A or B. That's beside the point. The main focus is to reflect on them and inshallah move forward and ask yourself where you'd like to be. It's a choice. It is a complete... in the 21st century, whether we like it or not, we all watch movies, all right? And one of the movies I personally like, The Matrix. It's a twisted movie. And at the end of the movie, what does the guy tell him? He says, it's choice. It's all about choice. And of course, we're doing an Islamic lesson, but just to interact with our brothers and sisters, because to be naive and say that none of us watch movies, I think that, like I said, it's pretty naive. We've all got hobbies, we all do things. So it's an open discussion, it's an open forum. We can be honest and open with each other, at least with yourself. So I'm going to start with myself. Yes, I watch movies. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't watch as much movies because I should use my time to benefit myself in other things. But what does he say to him at the end of the movie? After all of that hardship and taking the red pill and the blue pill and all of that stuff, he says to him, his choice. So again, it's our choice where we want to go. We've decided. Next. This one, I love it. This is a nice one. I know everything. Wow. Have you ever bumped into anyone that says, I know everything? It's difficult. This is a nice one as well. I don't like change. I'm busy. Let me see. I'll write that one. I'm busy. We have We have a live viewer. He just mentioned something to me. I'm busy, so I'm going to add it on. All right? Can you see where we're going with this, my brothers and sisters? Is this little whiteboard, this fancy whiteboard, is it starting to become simplified? Mindset, thinking, behavior, group A. Look at these people. Look at these statements and these phrases and these words. Start to think about them. I feel threatened. Wow. I feel threatened. Fi. Oh, this one is the best. I'm gonna rub out group B for now, inshallah, and then we'll have a whole list of group B, right? This one, I love this one. This one's amazing. What if I fail? What if I fail? And I'll leave this one. I hope, inshallah, the brothers and sisters that are listening are getting the trend, inshallah. And you know, it's live on Facebook. If you have any questions, we can answer them at the end. But it's important to just reflect on what's happening here. And the last one, which is not the last of this list, but from the many things on this list, let me stick to what I know. Wow. Okay. Now, looking at this list, listening to it, visualizing it now, and reflecting on it, I'm going to ask a question, and then at the end of the talk, hopefully, I'll come back to it. If this is a particular person's mindset, or a particular individual, male or female, or an ummah's mindset, I'd like to ask you a very simple question. Where would these group of people or individuals end up? Or where would they go? Or what outcomes would they achieve? I'm just going to pause for a second there just to think about that. I can't. It's too hard. This one, I love this one. I know everything. It's already finished. I already know everything. What if I fail? While we're thinking about these brothers and sisters, everyone's got a Google, everyone's got the internet these days, okay? The guy that done electricity, don't quote, I didn't research it, don't quote me for this, is right off the top of my head. I think he tried 999 times, something like that, 1,000, whatever it was, 600, 500 times, whatever. The point is, it was a lot of times that he failed. Now, if I just go to the left of my shoulder here, there's a PowerPoint. That PowerPoint, all I got to do is go switch on, off. What happens? It just turns off. Now, the question is, if the guy that was trying to invent electricity, his mindset was, what if I fail? Or if his mindset was, I already know everything. Or if his mindset was, it's too difficult. Of his mindset was, I can't. It's too hard. It's not fair. How come I've done that 1,000 times, it hasn't worked yet? Would we have that switch right there on the left of my shoulder? That's a question I have to our brothers and sisters that are listening. All right, so while you're thinking about that, I'm going to rub off this whiteboard. Alhamdulillah, it's live, so it'll stay on the whiteboard and we can go back to it and take notes if we want to reflect on it. Now, by the way, when I said Group A or Group B, it wasn't in any order. I just started off with Group A. Now, Group B. I can, I will, I must. This is Group B now. And I'm going to write that word again, mindset, so we don't lose it. I can, I will, I must. Show me the way. I love making mistakes. Now, before I continue, my brothers and sisters in Islam that are listening, can anyone clearly see what's written here? I can, I will, I must. Show me the way. I love making mistakes. Is this different to group A or to the list of things we had before? And if it is different, I'm not looking at my Facebook now, why don't you comment on the Facebook page today or tomorrow or in 1,000 years' time, whenever you listen to this talk, and give us your thoughts and give us your feedback on what the difference is already between Group A and Group B. We're still getting warmed up with this Group B, guys. I love learning and growing. SubhanAllah, maybe I just had a thought, maybe next time we should draw a line in the middle of the whiteboard and have both of them there at the same time so we can see the difference. Maybe we'll do that in the next lesson. Knowledge is power. I love this one. I am unstoppable. My brothers and sisters in Islam that are listening, again, I didn't Google this, a thought just came to mind. Those who got to the moon, do we believe that they had a mindset that they felt they were unstoppable? Do they believe that knowledge is power? Did they love making mistakes? Did they say, I can, I will, I must? Again, to be very real and open with one another. I think everyone's got Netflix at home. Go on Netflix, I've got Netflix at home as well. And go to the section of documentaries. And look at all of the documentaries there. Some of those documentaries have got about power. Some of them have got about how they got to the moon. Some of them have got the explorations about Mars. Me personally, I love it. Just to see the teams and how they function and how they work and how they combine their energy and their efforts together to a common goal and to a common cause. And I'll leave it to the brothers and sisters that are listening on their own, because there's something we want to highlight here. There's no judgment. Whether you are as an individual in Group A or Group B, or as an ummah, we're in Group A or Group B, there is no judgment. Why? It's very simple. Because only Allah judges us. It is upon us but to seek a path, to learn, to understand, to comprehend. It's riddled everywhere in the Quran. We see the cause and effect concept. Why did the people that are in paradise end up there? And why did the people of hellfire end up where they were? The people of paradise, are they from Group B or are they from Group A? That's something to think about. The list isn't finished yet, it still continues. Nothing is impossible. Oh, this one I love this one. I love this one. Failure is an opportunity to grow, expand, explore. Wow. So failure is an opportunity to grow, expand, and explore. I'm always, the whiteboard's running out. You can see I think I like the Group B more than Group A, but I'm always open to learn and grow and expand. Feedback is important for my growth. So with that, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam that are listening, Group B, mindset. I'm going to circle this word because this is a very powerful word. And to remind you again, we link the mindset to thinking patterns and behavioral patterns. Something we need to reflect about. I said at the start, once we finish this topic, that I was going to draw a couple of lines on the whiteboard, and I was going to leave you with some thoughts, inshallah, before we close off today. Are we looking for time, Mohammed? Where are we now? Already? All right. I said I have to get time management. Subhanallah. All right, let's go. Because we're trying to stick to half an hour, guys, not more than that. So that way I can rest and your mind can rest as well. All right, let's go. Group A, dot, line, yeah. Group B, dot, line, here. In the middle, I'm going to say, at the start of the lecture we said, or on Facebook we said we're going on a journey. By default, or I presume by default, when we say journey, what's the connotation? Car, petrol, clothes, baggage, aeroplane, destination, fun, excitement, so many things, just when you say the word journey. So I'm going to say, this is when we're born, it starts here, and this is over here, all the way to paradise. Okay? And I'm not going to, when I write paradise, I'm not going to say the end. Because for us as Muslims, paradise is actually the start. It's really the start, okay? But I'll just write SS, okay? Just for the sake of, from the Islamic point of view. But this is like start, and this is end. I'll say, when we die, for example, here. But the ultimate destination and the ultimate journey is to paradise. And on Facebook, what did we write? We're going to learn and lay the platform for our thinking, our behavior, to earn the greatest thing in this world. What's that? The pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. When we're in paradise and we're looking at Allah's perfect and beautiful face, and Allah, He tells us that He is happy from us. Allahu Akbar. Whoever would like for Allah to tell him that or tell her that, like, share, thumbs up, whatever you want to do on Facebook, say yes, me, no, whatever you'd like the answer to be. That's something for you to think about. Now, this is a roadmap. Keeping in mind everything we just spoke about today regarding Group A and Group B, I ask you for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, who out of Group A and Group B will hit their destination first? Is it those who say, I can't? Is it those who are limited? Is it those who say it's too hard? Is it those who say it's too late, it's too difficult, it's complicated, I don't know how to do it, I keep failing, I'll just stick to what I know, people are going to laugh at me? Or is it those who say, I can, I will, I must, I want to learn, I want to fail, because failing leads to growth and expansion. I want to succeed. I want to be the best. I want to show Allah Azza wa Jal that we can do it. I want to love making mistakes, and I am unstoppable. You know why? Because if Allah is with me, who's against me? Just think about that for a second. If Allah is with me, who can be against me? If the one that a leaf doesn't fall on this earth before, during and after His knowledge. He knows everything. He knows the knowledge of the unseen. He wrote everything down. He told the pen to write. And the pen said, what should I write? And Allah said, write everything that's going to happen. 50,000 years. We don't want to get into Aqidah class and that. The point is, my brothers and sisters in Islam, do we actually believe in Allah? Do we believe that He's the one that put the moon up today? Do we believe He's the one that brought the sun up in the morning? Do we actually believe that He's the one stopping the ocean where it stops? Do we actually believe He's the one that's feeding the fish in the depths of the ocean where mankind cannot even go and we don't even know what is down there? Do we believe all these things? What did they say? I shouldn't say this. The movie The Matrix. It's all about choice. Choice. No one can force anyone to do anything. Now, I hope this is clear today. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to conclude with this. The question is, which road map would we like to take? Which decision or choice are we actually going to take? That's the question. The quicker we make a choice and take decisions, the better it is for us as individuals and as an ummah. And inshallah, I'll conclude with that today. May Allah Azza wa Jal reward you for listening. May Allah Azza wa Jal allow us to be sincere. May Allah Azza wa Jal allow us to cleanse our hearts for what is in our hearts, to be on our tongues, hence on our limbs, on our actions. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to leave this dunya on the kalima of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to drink from the Prophet ﷺ's beautiful hands on the Day of Judgment afterwards, when we will never be thirsty again. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, we'll see you next Tuesday to continue the series. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.